if they want you to get that time, they'll make sure to give you that time. So even if you sit there and you beg and you plead, like, it's still not going to solve your solution.
We'll start off with an easy one. Any fashion or packing regrets from The Bachelor, Kelley?
You know what? I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I'll tell you one thing. I freaking struggled with my suitcases. I had 2 suitcases that broke, and it was horrible. One, before I left my hotel room, I don't know what happened, but one of my suitcases was randomly broken. And I was like, this is weird. So and again, like, I travel a lot. I love traveling. I'm addicted to traveling. So I have a really nice suitcase. And I was like, so annoyed. I'm sitting there trying to call Rimowa, which is a very expensive suitcase, to see if they could fix it before we're leaving.
Like, right, like you're in the hotel to go to night 1 of the show?
No, yeah, so it was broken there, but then it was brought to the mansion, but it was still broken in the mansion. Then when we started flying, I was like, guys, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't have a suitcase. So actually, from the first group date, they had a bunch of suitcases.
Oh.
Do you remember? Like, you had to find like your name within one of the suitcases to advance to the next place or something. You had to get dressed in like a pilot outfit or something like that. They had like probably 20 suitcases, just random suitcases. So I had to start traveling with that. Then we flew, I forget where we flew to. After Costa Rica, another one of my suitcases broke. The airlines broke it, but again, like, I couldn't give it back to the airlines to fix. So I would have to go like to the airport and have them wrap it with saran wrap and like do all that stuff. And even when I like left the show, my suitcases were just busting out everywhere. And I was like, man, this is a horrible experience with suitcases.
Like, this should have been a sign.
I know. They're like, just go home. Get out of here.
Go home. Obviously, group dates. We've been talking about how Paradise was, you know, this year big on the food and stuff. And I don't think you had to do anything too gross. But do you have any group date participation regrets? Doing any of the silly tasks set up for you?
Oh, that's the one that I was like cheating on the obstacle course with. That I was maybe told that that was all right, or maybe told to do that. I don't know. I don't remember.
Picking up what you're putting down.
I guess that would be my biggest regret. I made a bunch of girls cry, and they were pretty upset about me cheating. So sorry, Tammy, and I forgot who else. Cheyenne. They weren't happy with me that night, but it's all right.
That's your group date regret, cheating, even though maybe you were given different rules. Do you regret, because it kind of after the season aired, there was sort of the suggestion that maybe you, or even on the show, it was like you weren't being quote unquote maybe like aggressive enough or forward enough, kind of following the show's rules. For getting time with Peter, any regrets there on maybe being more aggressive for time with Peter on the show?
To be honest, Sarah, you're only limited like what you can do. Like, if they want you to get that time, they'll make sure to give you that time. So even if you sit there and you beg and you plead, like, it's still not going to solve your solution. And you could just see how like different people are treated. You know, if one person wants to go talk to him, of course, you know, sometimes even some people will get pulled to go talk to him. But when you're sitting there and you ask politely, like, they know what you want to do, and you're not giving that green light, like, what are you going to do? Like, go beg and plead? Like, they know what they're doing, and it's on their page. And I wasn't going to be someone, you know. Actually, there was several times where maybe we got into it in terms of production. Again, and there wasn't much I could do more. You know, I could sit here and say that I wish I fought more, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. I participated on all the group dates. I tried my best in a lot of senses. But overall, like, I just don't think there was too much of a push for me.
And after, when you and Peter got together, one of your interviews, there was some comment about you being trapped in a closet, and then it like turned into like a whole thing. Do you regret saying you were trapped in a closet? Were you trapped in a closet?
I wouldn't necessarily quote unquote say trapped, but let's just say I was excluded from everyone else for several hours by myself. And every once in a while a producer would come and say, and then when I would say that you know, I wasn't too happy, wanted to go back down, she would just say that her microphone wasn't working and she couldn't. And I'm like, listen, I just talked to one of the producers. I know those microphones go for over a mile long, so don't sit here and give me that excuse. But yeah, you know, it's not necessarily trapped, but at the same time, like, when you're excluded for several hours, not being able to see him, sitting in a dark room, and what are you gonna do, you know?
Do you feel like your relationship with Peter would have been different or ended differently or anything if you were like the winner?
Nope.
No.
At all.
Okay. All right. And this is a burning question. I feel like no one's asked you this, and I might be wrong, and maybe I just missed it. But after you guys started or like hanging out, by the way, thank you for the entertainment of when the world was shutting down and Us Weekly had nothing to cover, and then you and Peter were spotted in Chicago. That was such a gift to me personally. You and Hannah Brown hanging out with Tyler Cameron. You were really saving the entertainment industry. But I feel like at that time it kind of came out that like Madison was suggesting that Peter and her were still texting, and then like Hannah Ann was like throwing shade and stuff. Was any of that like a worry to you, or were you just like trying to move past the show and like give your relationship with Peter a shot?
No, because I actually knew what was going on. I was seeing if there were text messages. I saw those last text messages. I saw what was being said. There was nothing to hide there, and that wasn't necessarily the truth on the matter. So yeah, I would be a little bit more concerned, but I was right there knowing exactly what was going on. So I was like, why is that being said? When it wasn't true. But hey, it is what it is.
That turned into quite a media.
Plus, Sarah, it's like you truly, like, in my eyes, is you don't get to know a person until after the show. Like, no one's gonna go on and being like, oh, this is truly who I am, all this stuff. So when you're dating someone on one of these shows, you're usually different off the show. And I learned that, you know? Okay. Whether it's a lot of people, I see a lot of people get edits a certain way. I meet them in person, and I'm like, oh man, you're great, or you actually suck.
They did a real number on you, or like, wow, they did magic on you.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's probably the funniest thing.
Do you regret responding to any of Bennett's public flirting?
No. Bennett's Bennett. I wasn't going to stop him no matter what the case was. You know, I would speak to him as a friend, but there wasn't anything there, and he was going to do whatever he wanted to do, and let him do it, I guess.
Have there been other guys, you don't have to name names if you don't want to, from Bachelor Nation who have slid in the DMs?
So many. A lot. And actually, it's funny, I'll give you this. One I was really shocked on. I mean, we all like talk, but you know who's doing what. But yeah, there's a lot of DM going on. Honestly, Sarah, I think that there should be an after show with like a bunch of us that went on the show, because the drama does not stop after the show. The amount of stuff that still goes on, you would be shocked. But I'll give you this. I just saw Michelle's cast come out. Okay. And one of those guys used to be in my DMs before I was even on the show.
Wow. Can you leave them to me?
I can't, I'm not giving you the name, but I'll just give you that one.
Wow. I hope that something comes out. Like, I hope that, oh wow. Okay. That's intrigue. I can't wait.
I was like, maybe this world is too small. Like, I don't know how that happens, but when I saw that, I was like, huh. All right, that's funny.
This is before you were even on the show, though?
Before I was even on the show.
Wow, small world, you're right.
And I could assume he may have been in one of the another contestant's DMs as well. So it was.
Oh my God. Do you guys like compare notes? Like, if you're the top like 5 from Peter's girls, like I feel like you guys were like pretty friendly, maybe especially after you and Peter like weren't seeing each other anymore. Are you like, oh, this guy just hit me up from Claire's season, or like let's avoid this guy, or is it an open conversation?
Yes and no. It depends on how like close you are with that person. But usually you hear from the grapevine if like anything's getting serious with anyone, and you'll be like, oh, I know that guy, or oh, that guy was in my DMs too, or
that line on me.
Yeah,
I would do anything to be in those DMs. I just need like a coffee table book of all the most incriminating text messages and DMs between you guys. Speaking of social media, Do you regret any shady TikToks or post-breakup comments made about Peter?
Not at all.
Yes, Kelley, yes.
Not at all. Listen, I could have done a lot worse. Let's just say that.
And you got to be on like Barbara Corcoran's podcast talking about F-boys. I was like, go for it.
We talked mostly about business, but yeah, she's hilarious. She goes all in. So,
do you regret not going on Paradise this season, assuming you guys were asked? Peter's season didn't have that big of a showing. I feel like everyone kind of like, you're Hannah Ann, you're Maddie, you're Victoria F. None of you went. I was kind of surprised.
Do I regret it? No. Again, like, one, I was, the show brings on a lot of stress. It's a lot of transition. It's a lot of this, going through a breakup. Like, I was moving, trying to figure out where the heck I'm moving. Like, health-wise, I knew something was wrong. I was like, this timing isn't off. I didn't really see anyone that I would like, that I was super interested in, that I kind of knew was going. And I was like, yeah, this. And then too, like, I think the producers always said, they're like, we actually liked Kelley. She was just too normal for our show. I think one of the girls from Paradise just recently told me that's what they said. And they said that to me to my face. So I'm like, I don't know, like, what do I do? I don't know. You're
still like doing law stuff, right?
No, so I'm taking a 9-month like hiatus for everything to do all this health stuff. So I'm not doing any law stuff. I'm literally not doing anything.
And you're in Florida?
I'm in Florida. I am not going to New York anymore as of now, maybe like next year. But again, a lot of things are changing for me. I'm going to stay down here. My parents come down here in the winter. I'm at their place, but so I need to get out of their place once they come down here. So I'm looking at a place in Miami for maybe 6 months, maybe a year, and then eventually get to New York. But right now I'm trying to kind of exclude myself from everything, from everyone. I don't want to be tempted to, I'm still going to go out, but I'll be drinking my water. I'll probably bring my own food, which is like annoying. So, it's just, I don't want to be doing as much as I was in terms of traveling, in terms of going to a bunch of these events. Like, I really need to buckle down and just focus on this.
Well, if you ever want to talk about The Bachelor, you know that we can drink water over Zoom and we can recap. Are you going to be watching Michelle's season to see your former DMer in action?
Yeah, I'll watch it. It'll be entertaining. One of the new guys was just commenting on my photo too, and I was like, it hasn't even aired yet, bro. Like, what are you doing?